Alright guys, I'm going to do another little 22 ammo comparison video. I did one of these a while back, but I've added a few extra ammos to the collection, and I want to do this update video to show you kind of some of how my favorites have evolved as I've been shooting. And also, I'm going to make this into a two-part series. The first part is going to be me just showing the ammo and talking about it. And then the second part is I'm going to run through some targets with you and show you how some of this ammo does on paper. So, first off, let's talk about the Wildcat by Winchester. This is what I would consider a pure and simple plinking round. It's a 40 grain lead round nose. And it's not the most accurate, ammo in the world. It doesn't do too good. You know, I expect about 2-inch groups at 50 yards with the out of the standard barrel 1022. I would probably definitely get better groups with my match grade barrel, but I don't even bother shooting this ammo out of it because I don't think it would really make a huge. It's not worth it, you know. So let's go up in the scale here. We'll go from about the worst ammo on the table to the best ammo on the table, and that is this target rifle Remington Eley. It's really Eley ammunition that's labeled with Remington's name. This ammo right here cost me about $10.50. And that's for 50, read it, 50 rounds, okay? So we're talking the same price for this ammunition as 9mm ammo, okay? But it is the most accurate ammo on this table, maybe equally accurate with the CCI pistol match. The pistol match is probably the second most expensive on the table, and it is probably just as accurate as the Eley, but we'll talk about that in a second. So let me show you this Eley ammo. One thing I noticed about this ammo is that when I fire it, it has a sweet smell to it. Okay, and I think it's the light oil that this round is coated in. It's coated in this oil that lubricates it through the barrel, and I believe that's what the smell is from. But this is a phenomenally accurate round. Now it fires out at about I think 1,050 feet per second, so it's a pretty slow moving round. It's subsonic, and definitely, you know, this is really not considered match grade ammo. Okay, there's ammo that's much more expensive. Eley has their 10x round that they produce, and I just can't bring myself to spend the money on that ammunition. In fact, even if it did shoot phenomenally well out of my match grade 1022, I still wouldn't stock it because it's just too expensive. Okay, and I'll talk a little bit about that here in a minute. But okay, next up we have the Remington 22 yellow jacketed hollow points. Now this is what we call hyper velocity ammunition. It's a 33 grain round, and it fires about 1,500 feet per second. It has this truncated hollow point, okay, so it comes to a blunt end, and it is a hollow point cavity there. Really, really good round. Not the most accurate. I've had people tell me that they love the yellow jacket, saying that it is very, very accurate out of their gun. But my standard velocity, or my standard barreled 1022 does okay with the Remington yellow jackets. But my match grade, my Talo-Ruger 1022 does not like it one bit. In fact, we shot some horrible groups with it, and I'll actually show you let me see if I can just find it real fast. I'll show you one of the here's a group here, discounting all the flyers. Okay, we had a 1 1/4 inch group with it, but we did have 3 flyers with it, and so it opened it up to really like a 3-inch. Well, like a 2.5, 3-inch group. So it didn't like the yellow jackets as much. I shouldn't say horrible dislike, but it didn't like it as much as some of the other ones. Okay, all right, let's go on to the next, which is the 38 grain copper plated hollow point from American Eagle. This is also what I consider a plinking ammunition. Okay, It is fairly accurate. In fact, and there's the hollow point cavity, really small. This is not expensive ammunition at all. You can see how dinged up that bullet is. That's because when they produce it, they dump it into bins, and then they box them up. And it's boxed like this, okay? They're taking really dinged up ammunition and putting them in these little separate compartments, and I think it's just kind of silly, you know. They should just leave it open like the Remington Yellow Jacket is, and just kind of stacked in there, but whatever. So anyway, cheap ammunition, really reliable, and you know, fairly accurate for what it is. I would say more accurate than the Wildcat. So probably of the cheaper ammo, some of the most accurate stuff. Okay, now let's go to the Federal Gold Medal Target. Now this runs about $5 a box. Okay, so it's half the price of the Eley, but yet it didn't shoot half the performance. It actually shot fairly well, and when Danny and I were shooting groups with my Talo-Ruger 1022 at 100 yards, we determined that this was probably the best bang for the buck with accuracy versus price. Excuse me. And what it looks like is this right here, kind of a pale silvery lead round nose. Okay? Really good ammunition. In fact, I think it really is probably your best bang for your buck when it comes to target ammo. Okay? So would I stock a bunch of this target Remington Eley? No. It's way too expensive. Way too expensive. Okay? I like having a couple boxes of them laying around just if I wanted to show what the capabilities of my rifle were, but other than that, I wouldn't stock it. This stuff, on the other hand, for $5 a box, I can deal with $5 a box, okay? That's less price than like a CCI Velocitor, which I can get for about $6 a box, okay? So there's that. Now, the next is this older stuff. This is the 22 long rifle, high-powered ammo by Ferderal. And I believe this is a 40 grain full metal jacket or a copper-plated round nose, and I think it fires out at 1,200 feet per second. If I'm wrong, I'll try to annotate. If I am wrong and somebody knows it, let me know, and I'll annotate. But I think that's 1,200 feet per second. And actually, I wish I had more of this stuff, because this is some of the most accurate lead or copper-plated round nose I can find. It's really good stuff, and it was really cheap when we first got it. So, and I only have about 2 or 3 boxes left of this stuff, and I wish I had more. So, anyway, that's the Ferderal Hi-Power. Okay, next is the good old-fashioned Thunderbolt. Now, the Thunderbolt is kind of my childhood staple. I've shot several thousands, if not several tens of thousands, of Thunderbolt 22 Remington ammunition. Now, I fired a little bit different ammunition when I was younger. Let me show you this one here. This is the lead round nose, and the stuff that I had when I was growing up was the truncated cone, more so. Now, one thing about the Thunderbolt is that it is kind of got this thick wax that they use to lubricate the bullet with, and it tends to foul up the barrel quite a bit. What I usually do in order to clean that out is I'll shoot something like the high-power copper-plated full metal jacket, and that tends to clean that wax out a little bit of the barrel. So if I start losing accuracy by shooting too many of these, I'll just fire some copper-plated, full metal jackets or whatever on them. So anyway, that's the 22 Thunderbolt. Now next we have the cheapest CCI ammunition, which is the Blazer 22. And this stuff is actually a lot more reliable and accurate than you would think. Here's the bullet in question, CCI Blazer. Actually real cheap. It's not too dirty. Good plinking ammunition. Definitely a good value. So if you are on a budget, the CCI Blazer is actually pretty good stuff. Okay, now next we have the ultimate in value, which is really the Ferderal bulk pack, and this is the Champion ammunition. In fact, I went to a store today and they had these packs of 525 on sale for $15, so $14.99. So I don't think really you can beat that price. So the Ferderal value pack is amazing. Now here's what they are. They're a 36 grain full metal jacket, or a 36 grain hollow point, copper plated. And you can tell they're kind of beat up. You know, they're a bulk pack. They rattle around in there and whatnot. But you know, they've actually run fairly reliably for me. Every once in a while, maybe every 1,000 rounds, I get a failure to fire from one. But for the most part, they're really reliable. So you can stock a ton of this stuff. They're not very accurate. When I fire them from I don't even actually know if I've even put any of these through my Talo-Ruger 1022, but you know, you don't really get just impressive accuracy from this. This is plinking ammunition. Okay. Now the next ammunition here is the Ferderal Auto Match, and this stuff I had high hopes for. I was hoping that this would perform a lot better than it did. It comes in this 325 round pack, and I think I got this for like 13 or 14 bucks. I think is what they sell it for. And this is a 1200 foot per second. Let me show you the little table they give you here. It's a 1200 feet per second out of the muzzle at 130 foot-pounds of energy, and this is what it looks like here. It's really a silvery lead round nose. Okay. I had high hopes for this ammunition. I was hoping that this stuff would shoot incredibly well from my Talo-Ruger 1022 match grade barrel, but sorry to say, it really didn't do very well. In fact, it just kind of seemed like I could even audibly hear some discrepancies between the shots. Like, I don't think the powder consistency was very good. So I had higher hopes for it, and I don't think it really lived up to my expectations for it. So anyway, that's the Ferderal Auto Match. A great ammunition, very economical. Definitely more accurate than the value pack from well, I wouldn't say a ton more accurate, but I would say more accurate than the value pack from the Ferderal Champion. So a little bit better accuracy, a little bit more pricey, but you know, so that's what you get. You get what you pay for. Okay, next we have the infamous CCI Mini Mag. Now this one here is a 40 grain copper-plated round nose. Okay, so this is a little bit different than your standard CCI Mini Mag, which is a 36 grain full metal, or a 36 grain hollow point. This is the round nose version. Now, I gotta say, guys, that let me see. Come on, focus up here. There we are. The CCI Mini Mag is probably by far the best accuracy for your buck from a high velocity ammunition. Okay, now the best bang for your buck for a subsonic target ammo, I would say, is your gold medal, Ferderal gold medal target. This stuff for your high velocity ammo is probably your best accuracy you're going to get for your dollar. Okay, that's the CCI Mini Mag 40 grain. Now let's look at the 36 grain CCI Mini Mag. Okay, and this one is a hollow point. Okay, so the difference in weight comes from that hollow cavity in the front. Just great ammunition. You talk to anybody that shoots a lot of rimfire, if they've excuse me, if they've shot the Mini Mag, if they shoot a lot of rimfire, they can definitely tell you the Mini Mag is a great ammunition, and it's one that I recommend for most rifles, and you won't go wrong. It is a bit pricier. We're looking at I could pick this stuff up at one of my local shops for $6 per 100. So not the cheapest, but definitely not the most expensive by any means. So, okay, next we have and this is the CCI Standard Velocity. Okay, so we're looking at 1,700 or 1,070 feet per second, and that's 40 grain. And this is a lead round nose. Okay, now the reason why CCI came out with the Standard Velocity ammunition was, and you can see some of the lube right there on the nose. If you can see that little chunk of stuff, that is the lubrication from the, okay, focus in here. That's the lubrication from the bullet that's kind of pooled out onto the tip, the nose of the round. Okay, so that's the Standard Velocity. Now, I will say the Standard Velocity, and I'll show you this. I'll show you some of the Standard Velocities groups on paper here. But the reason why they created the Standard Velocity is so that people could practice with a fairly accurate round without spending the same amount of money that they would on CCI's TNT or green tag ammo. Their green tag ammo is very, very expensive. In fact, I found it at Sportsman's Warehouse for, I want to say, 16 or 17 bucks per 100. So it's pretty expensive ammunition, their green tag, and that's their competition ammo. This is the same velocity, same, it groups very similar, same flight pattern and stuff. So that's why they came out with that. really good ammunition for accuracy. Okay, now we're going to move into let me show you right now the CCI pistol match. Now this stuff shoots at, I want to say, let's see if it's on here. I don't think it is. I think this stuff fires at about 1,050 feet per second. And this is probably the tie with the Eley target ammo, is this pistol match. In fact, it's probably a bit more accurate than the Eley ammo, and about the same price. And that's what it looks like right there. A real nice quality lead round nose. Okay, so there is the CCI pistol match. Now you can fire the pistol match out of a rifle just fine, and that's what I've done. I didn't actually fire any of the pistol match from a pistol, so all my groups with the pistol match are done with a rifle. Okay, next we have, again, the infamous Stinger. Okay, now this is your hyper velocity ammo. It has a 640 foot per second velocity with a 32 grain hollow point. The one thing that sets the CCI Stinger apart is that it has a slightly longer casing than your standard 22 rimfire, 22 long rifle, and that kind of makes it so it won't shoot in some chambers. Okay, so like I can't fire this in my Talo-Ruger, although I did. I did put about 20 rounds of this through my Talo-Ruger 1022, and I believe I'll show you that on a target here. But I wasn't supposed to, because the chamber is a match grade chamber, and this stuff isn't supposed to feed very well in matched chambers, but it actually fed fairly well. This is kind of this is a great choice for personal protection. It's also could be used for hunting. It's a fairly accurate round for what it is. But I have come to fall out of favor a little bit with the CCI Stinger, and I've come into favor with the CCI Velocitor. Now, if you guys have seen my videos shooting out to 300 and 400 yards with my 1022, this is the stuff I'm shooting. Okay, this is my absolute 100% favorite 22 ammunition right now, and this is the stuff that I stock up. Okay, this is the stuff I stock in by the brick, because this stuff here is the stuff that I shoot from my Talo-Ruger 1022. This is the ammunition that I want in my Talo-Ruger 1022. Okay, so this is the only stuff I really shoot from it anymore, because this is the stuff that I want to bulk up on. Now, it is pricey. This brick of 500 rounds was $60. Okay, so I get 50 of these for about 60 bucks. or 50 of these for $6. It's about the same price as the CCI Stinger. Okay, so I buy these by the brick, and this brick here was $60. All right, for 500 rounds. But it is by far, again, my favorite 22 long rifle ammunition. And it's the stuff that I'm firing exclusively now through my Talo-Ruger 1022. And I'm going to show you this on paper here. Okay, so what we'll do right now is we'll go to part 2, and we're going to show you the targets, and we'll show you how the Ruger 1022, the Talo-Ruger 1022 groups with some of these ammunitions. Okay, all right, guys, stay tuned, and we'll catch you in part 2.